to Bad Larry.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we're checking out part 35 of 39 of the Inferno series. So just 4 more issues to go to completely wrap up the Inferno saga. And today we're looking at Excalibur number 7. I rated this cover only a 75%, even though technically it is a wraparound cover. I think the back would have had the other half. I didn't include it. You can look it up. It's not that interesting. It has Meggan as the Goblin Princess with Captain Britain chained around the neck. It's just a little off-putting. I didn't find it that interesting. I think that the focus, which is the front, has Crotus as the main character all smiling. The only way to know that it's not Nightcrawler is if you picked it up and looked at the back. I just didn't feel like it was that interesting, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. Crotus is the Rodney Dangerfield of Inferno. He gets no respect. He tries and tries. He's a loyal servant to Nooster, but never gets rewarded for anything. In fact, in Exterminators number 4, if you haven't checked that video out, check out my Inferno playlist. He was green, but when he went to unplug the computer, he got fried, and that's why he's all crispy blue now. But he has Nooster's Book of Spells. He's also a bit of a devious little bastard who thinks he can also control Limbo and maybe take over Nooster's job. You know, they're always plotting against each other, these little demons. And then he comes across a visage that he cannot take his eyes off of. The Phoenix, aka Rachel Summers, has succumbed to the demonic Inferno phenomenon and is now possessed. In this area, all these people have switched places with the mannequins. The people are the mannequins, and now the mannequins have come to life. So what we see here is Rachel Summers, aka Phoenix, under demonic control. She's in there, but she's basically a mannequin now, and Crotus thinks that he's going to use this Book of Spells to demonically marry Rachel Summers. This comic can be a bit confusing if you hadn't read the previous one and you don't really understand what's going on. On the left-hand side, the page with Crotus and Phoenix, this is actually happening in the real world. Phoenix is trapped as a mannequin. She's doing the mannequin challenge, and Crotus thinks that he's going to use his red book of spells to legally bind them in marriage somehow. But on the right-hand side, and this is not in reality, what's going on is Brian Braddock, aka Captain Britain, is under a spell, and they're actually in the movie. They're not in real life like Phoenix and Crotus are, but they're actually inside the film. So it's a bit confusing going back and forth between reality and then this non-reality that Shadowcat and Captain Britain are in. So again, to clarify, the pages, the left and the right, this is not in reality. Shadowcat and Captain Britain are stuck demonically inside the movie, these classic 80s shoot 'em up flicks, Rambo style flicks. This is what's happening. Captain Britain is more possessed than Shadowcat. Shadowcat, maybe because of her intangibility, she isn't able to be demonically controlled. But right now, Captain Britain thinks that Shadowcat's the enemy. They're fighting, and then Shadowcat actually almost kills him as we go over to the right-hand side. And then it takes a turn into kind of Captain Freddy Krueger, and Shadowcat is now the cheerleader who's going to be running from her. So in these 2 pages, it's not reality. The Inferno demonic possession is just drug them into this fake reality where they have to try to escape, but in the meantime, they're reenacting cheesy 80s shoot 'em up movies or horror teen flicks. Now, on these 2 pages, we're going to see what's going on with Nightcrawler. This is back in reality. This is in actual Manhattan, real life. Nightcrawler was unconscious. He had just fallen from the absolute miles high version of the Empire State Building that is demonically enlarged to miles and miles high. Uh, for some reason, he didn't teleport his way down. He just bounced off of demons and flags, and this sanitation vehicle is coming around. It is demonically possessed, and it's still doing its job like a typical like hard working New Yorker. Just oh my gosh, the streets are so dirty. So it scoops Nightcrawler up, swallows him up. Inside is a bunch of people. They think that he's a demon because, well, he looks like a demon. They're fighting. It's like the thing has a tummy trouble, and the sanitation vehicle barfs everybody up, and they all go running for their lives. It's I'm not saying it's not that interesting, but uh, why didn't he just teleport away? I don't understand why Nightcrawler isn't using more of his teleportation powers. I know that he can use them right now. It just seems like he isn't for some reason. Maybe y'all Excalibur super fans can let me know what's going on with his teleportation powers right now in this era. As I said before, this comic bounces between reality and not reality. It's very confusing to know what's going on. Maybe that's the point. The Inferno, it was a bit of a mess. You just didn't know what was going on. So in these 2 pages, again, we're back in fake reality. Shadowcat is running for her life from the Freddy Krueger version of Captain Britain running through. You see all the lockers from all of the classic X-Men. You got Cyclops' locker and Storm's locker, and Shadowcat opens up and there's someone stuck in the locker. She's really scared, running for her life, but it's not real, you know. But oddly enough, the Freddy Krueger version takes a swipe at Kitty Pryde and actually does hurt her. So it is weird that her powers work, but then they're not working. It's very confusing. This little fake world that Captain Britain and Shadowcat are in, that some of their powers work and some of them don't. It's a bit of it's a bit cattywampus, I'll be honest. If one thing I will give Nightcrawler is that he's pretty brave, even though he did fall from the absolute heights of the Empire State Building. He decided he's gonna climb to the top of another building to get a good look at everything going on. And what we see is him talking to a gargoyle. What I find interesting is that the infernal demonic energies have turned everything evil, cars evil, people evil, even the X-Men they've made evil. But I think what was interesting, and this gargoyle is going to come into play later in the comic, is that the creator of the gargoyle made him to be a watcher. So even though he's now animated because of the inferno demonic energies, at his core he's so pure good that he's able to still be good even as an animated gargoyle. And over on the page on the right, Nightcrawler comes across some people yelling for help. These mannequins have come to life and replaced them with the real people. That's why we see Rachel Summers, aka the Phoenix, standing like a mannequin in the store window. The mannequins are now all walking around. That's why Nightcrawler is kicking the head off the lady. This is just a demonically animated mannequin, and they're running after all the people like a bunch of zombies. It's funny, on the left side, which is happening in real life, these soldiers that are in white, the Starship Troopers, I wonder if the actual movie Starship Troopers literally ripped this name from this exact comic, because I've never heard that saying before ever until reading this comic, and I know this came before the movie. Anyway, the Starship Troopers actually look like the movie Starship Troopers, or actually the movie Starship Troopers, look like these little figures. Now these figures are toys that have become animated to now fight with the zombie mannequins, which is what's going on. But like zombies, the mannequins are getting shot and then they just put themselves back together all disgusting, willy-nilly like, and just keep coming. So that's terrifying. And over on the right hand side, which is in fake reality, it's in the movie world, Shadowcat runs into what would be called a slaughterhouse. We see here the Goblin Princess, Meggan. She calls this place an abattoir, a French or actually English word for slaughterhouse. So she's seen all the X-Men hung upside down like slabs of beef, and for some reason that's not scary enough. So Goblin Princess switches the scene to now Shadowcat's gonna be dancing. So it's odd. Like I said, this situation you would think would be getting scarier and scarier, but it's actually just not. So I think that Goblin Princess thinks that uh, having Shadowcat and Captain Britain spinning around dancing until they die is some sort of punishment, but Shadowcat, because I guess of her intangibility, doesn't have the same equilibrium problems as a normal, regular person, even a mutant. I guess because if you're gonna have to phase through buildings, your mind is going through things that it shouldn't be. I guess you're just not getting dizzy the same way as other people. So, as Captain Britain is spinning her around and around and around, she's like, "Oh, it's kind of fun. It's no big deal." And Captain Britain is the one who's actually starting to sweat and uh, unable to keep it up, if you know what I mean. And back in reality, as we switch back and forth trying to zigzag and hip hop between reality and the fake movie scene, Nightcrawler finds Phoenix, snatches her up, and the gargoyle actually comes down and saves him, which is a nod to the conversation that Nightcrawler had with the gargoyle before, that the gargoyle is essentially pure good, even if he has been animated by demonic entities, which this part I find pretty cool. Well, like I said, Captain Britain is sweating. He can't keep spinning around like this. Shadowcat seems to have no problem. He passes out, and Goblin Princess gets annoyed and throws his ass on a dog collar and then fades to black. Again, very odd. So even though Nightcrawler has the Phoenix's body, her mind and essence is stuck mannequin's inside of this mannequin, and as Crotus is trying to spellbind a marriage between the two of them, I think the Phoenix is starting to get pissed off and is about to bust loose. These first few panels on the upper left-hand side is a little bit freaky deaky. They got Captain Britain and his little thong, 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 thong. I like it when the beat go. Baby, make your booty go. That thong, that thong, thong, thong. Sir, this comic is supposed to be for kids. Who is drawing this? Alan Davis, my word. Freaky deaky. And out of nowhere, somehow, Shadowcat gets the soul sword, magic soul sword. How did this happen? We don't know. It's just comic books, people. But she has the soul sword. She swipes at Captain Britain, which nullifies all of the demonic energies and reverts him back to normal, which is why we see him lying there with his regular Captain Britain outfit on, albeit it is ripped, and that's from the sword, but he's saved now. And now Shadowcat has to fight Goblin Princess, who starts to turn Shadowcat into a literal cat meow that's blue. I don't know why. Did they not have very many colors? she also now looks like Crotus, who looks like Nightcrawler. They could have picked different colors, but anyway, so she turns Shadowcat into a literal cat demon monster, but her powers are starting to wane because at this exact time, uh, Noster and his influence is starting to lose, which is why we see the Goblin Princess starting to sweat. So Shadowcat takes her shot, throws the Soul Sword at Goblin Princess, and we don't get to see what happens with Goblin Princess, but she gets probably reverted back to normal. We move over to Nightcrawler, Crotus, and the Phoenix. Nightcrawler puts a stop to this whole wedding charade. He takes the book. He's like, this wedding is over. The gargoyle throws Rachel Summers' Phoenix that's stuck as a mannequin into the mannequin, mixing it all up. The Phoenix is back released, so she's back to normal. Which unfortunately, sad for the gargoyle, he risked his life, but now he's crumbled into 1,000 pieces. So he was like a bit of a sacrificial good in this time of darkness that's going on. Which again, I like that part. So we see Captain Britain, Meggan, everybody's kind of back to normal. Everybody's all upset about the whole ordeal, and then poor pathetic Crotus is gonna have to crawl back to Noster. He didn't get jack done in this comic, and that's where we ended, folks. So let me know what you think about this issue down in the comments below. I gave this issue, written by Chris Claremont and drawn by Alan Davis, an 85%. It was weird, but after you read it a couple times, you understand why it's weird. Because it's the Inferno. It's freaking demon, goblin phenomenon. It's supposed to be a little bit off-putting, I think. That's why if anybody is upset with the Joker #2 movie, with all the singing, they don't get it. Well, the point of the Joker movie was to make you feel uncomfortable, and maybe this was the whole point of this comic book. But if your idea is to try to sell more comic books, I don't know if this was the best route, because they put a little bit too much artistic expression in here that may have been off-putting to the readers. You'd have to be kind of really understanding what's going on. Some of the art was weird. One of the main things, I don't like their use of just one azure blue. So Shadowcat's the same blue as Nightcrawler, as Crotus, as when Shadowcat got turned into a demon version of Shadowcat. So they need to vary the blue colors. But I guess they only had what they had back then. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. And next issue, I'm very excited. Again, my first foray into Cloak and Dagger. Again, I'm familiar with these characters. Cloak and Dagger, I've never read a Cloak and Dagger comic book. And it looks like we're going to be featuring the New Mutants, which we've had on the channel before. And we're seeing that we're starting to enter the INFERNO finale. So this will be episode number 36, next episode of 39 with Cloak and Dagger. Thanks everybody. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I love you guys. Talk to you later. See you tomorrow. Peace.